What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. As always, we're here to talk about everything happening with America's team. Before we dive into today's big topic, do me a favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on the latest Cowboys news. All right, let's get into it. The 2025 NFL offseason is fast approaching, and the Cowboys front office has some major decisions to make in free agency. With 22 players set to hit the open market, Dallas has some tough choices ahead. Names like DeMarcus Lawrence, Zach Martin, and Jordan Lewis are among those whose contracts are expiring, but there's one player the Cowboys simply cannot afford to lose: defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa. Pro Football Focus's Dalton Wasserman has identified Odighizuwa as the one free agent the Cowboys must prioritize. Why? Because he's been an absolute force in the middle of the defense. In the 2024 season, Odighizuwa recorded 47 tackles, a career-high 4. 5 sacks, 33 pressures, 23 quarterback hits, and 5 tackles for loss. Those numbers don't just show up on a stat sheet, they translate to real impact on the field. He finished second on the team in total pressures, only behind Micah Parsons. Think about that for a second. With all the talent on this defense, Odighizuwa was the second most disruptive player up front. That's not something you let walk out the door. From a pass-rushing standpoint, he was elite for an interior lineman. His 78.5 pass rush grade ranked 11th among all defensive tackles in the NFL. While his run defense could use some improvement, his ability to collapse the pocket and disrupt the quarterback is something the Cowboys desperately need to retain. If you look at the Cowboys' current roster heading into the offseason, there's a serious depth issue at defensive tackle. Right now, only 3 interior linemen are under contract: Mazi Smith, Justin Rogers, and Denzel Daxon. That's it. Losing Odighizuwa would leave a massive hole in the middle of this defense. Mazi Smith, a former first-round pick, is still developing, and Justin Rogers is unproven, expecting either of them to step into a full-time starting role without a veteran. Presence like Odighizuwa could be a recipe for disaster. The Cowboys have to be smart and lock him up before another team swoops in with a big offer. Of course, Odighizuwa isn't the only free agent the Cowboys need to think about. The team also needs to address the offensive line, wide receiver depth, and possibly even quarterback depth. But here's the thing, without a strong defensive front, none of that will matter. The 2024 season exposed the Cowboys' struggles against the run and against teams that had a dominant offensive line. If they don't solidify the middle of the defense, they're going to have the same problems in 2025. Keeping Odighizuwa should be the top priority before Dallas even thinks about making any splash signings. While most analysts have linked the Cowboys to players like running back Ashton Jeanty or wide receiver Luther Burden III, CBS Sports' Chris Trapasso sees Dallas going in a different direction. In his latest mock draft, Trapasso has the Cowboys selecting Penn State's star tight end Tyler Warren. That's right, another tight end. Now, before you jump into the comments, let's break down why this move might actually make sense. Standing at 6'6" and 260 pounds, Warren is an absolute mismatch nightmare for defenders. His senior season at Penn State was nothing short of spectacular. In 2024, he racked up 104 receptions, 1,133 yards, and 8 touchdowns, proving to be one of the most dominant offensive weapons in college football. His best performance? A monster game against USC on October 12th, where he caught 17 passes for 224 yards and a touchdown, leading Penn State to a thrilling 33-30 overtime win. That game alone put NFL scouts on high alert, and his draft stock has been skyrocketing ever since. An award-winning talent, Warren's production didn't go unnoticed. He finished his college career with a trophy case full of accolades: First-Team All-American, 2024, Big Ten Tight End of the Year, 2024, First-Team All-Big Ten, 2024, John Mackey. Award winner, given to the nation's best tight end. That's an impressive resume for a guy who could be suiting up in Cowboys blue next season. Now, some of you might be wondering, why go for a tight end when we have Jake Ferguson? That's a fair question. Ferguson had a breakout year in 2023 and even made the Pro Bowl. But here's the thing. He's entering the final year of his rookie deal in 2025. The Cowboys need to start thinking about the future, and Warren could be an elite long-term option. Plus, the NFL is evolving. Having multiple dynamic tight ends is a growing trend, and we've seen how dominant offenses like the Chiefs and 49ers have thrived with elite tight end play. Imagine a two tight end set with Warren and Ferguson. That could be a game changer for Dak Prescott and this offense. Warren is much more than just a big body in the red zone. His explosiveness off the line, route running ability, and elite ball tracking skills make him a nightmare for linebackers and safeties. He's also an excellent blocker, which means he won't be a liability in the run game. One of his biggest strengths is his versatility. He can line up as a traditional tight end in the slot or even out wide. That type of flexibility would give new Cowboys offensive coordinator a ton of options to scheme plays around him. Now let's shift gears for a second. The Cowboys coaching search is still ongoing, and after missing out on some big names like Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson, the team is looking at a much different list of candidates. One name that has been floating around is former New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh. Now, I know what you're thinking. His record with the Jets wasn't great. But hear me out. Saleh is a defensive-minded coach who has had success in San Francisco, and even with a struggling Jets team, his defenses have consistently been among the best in the league. The Cowboys just had an offensive-minded coach in Mike McCarthy, and that didn't work out. Maybe it's time for a change in philosophy. Sure, the 20-36 record with the Jets isn't pretty, but let's be honest, that organization was a mess. If Saleh had a more stable front office and a better roster, things could have gone differently. In Dallas, he'd have talent to work with, and he already knows how to handle the pressure that comes with being a head coach. So, Cowboys Nation, here's the deal. The front office needs to lock up Osa Odighizuwa as soon as possible. Letting him walk would be a huge mistake, especially with the lack of depth at defensive tackle. As for the head coaching search, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Losing out on some of the top candidates puts the Cowboys in a tough spot, but Robert Saleh might not be a bad option if they're looking for a defensive leader. Now, I want to hear from you. Should the Cowboys prioritize keeping Odighizuwa? And who do you think should be the next head coach? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss any Cowboys updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Go Cowboys!